Hello, City Skylines fans. I'm Socks Way Up, and welcome to Chillhorn, a City Skylines Let's Play series using Snowfall DLC. It's the first time I've used this DLC. I actually purchased it utilizing the Steam sale. I believe everything's like 75% off, so I went ahead and got that DLC. I think Disasters is the only one I don't own at this point. But I figured this would be a great way to wrap up 2020. As I'm recording this, the high was 97 where I live today. Yeah. I wish there was snow. At least some cooler weather. It's coming. But we're going to get going. Again, we're going to wrap up 2020 with this probably shorter series. Hopefully this can help some of you get into the holiday spirit. This time of year is my favorite, and I figured why not do a map with snow on it? We'll see how it goes. I like every city, we're going to start with some roads just to get everything else unlocked and then bring in the traffic. So with this area, I've kind of been taking a look at it. I'm not 100% sure if we're going to want to carry on this freeway. When we get a different angle of it, you're going to see if it went straight, it's going to run right into a mountain. So we could eventually bring this highway up, wrap it around to the left. I'm not sure if we're going to do that, but to start off, we're going to add some 45-degree angles for getting people off the freeway and back on the freeway. And as you'll notice here in a second, like the big dope that I am, I forgot to connect the road so that people could actually get in to both sides of the city. But anyways, let's move on. So we built out this initial road structure that I can tell you right now is going to change over time. We're going to get the city started, get it up and going and profitable like I did at the beginning of my last series. I debated with the idea of unlocking everything at the beginning. I just don't enjoy playing the game that way. Maybe I'll do a series later on where everything's unlocked and we just have full reign of doing whatever we want. I like the milestone system. I like the way things slowly get unlocked, and you can see right here is where I forgot to connect the middle. We come back to that later, make an overpass, but yeah, like I was saying, we're going to slowly get this started and change things the way we want it to be long term. And this area here is going to be our initial industrial area. We're going to use a coal power plant. I didn't do that at all in the last series. We used only the wind turbines or the wind power sources, and it worked out good. But I think in this one, where the weather dictates how much electricity is used, from what I understand, we're going to need a little bit more electricity to start with. At this point, we have our utilities figured out, at least the beginning ones, to get the city up and running with electricity and water. And now we're going to start building out a little bit of the neighborhood road structure, road layout to get that going. I was a little hesitant to start going up towards the mountain. We'll be doing that in a later episode, but this one, just to get us profitable, just to get us established. Typically, I use the plain roads for in my neighborhoods. I decided not to do that with this one. I like the way the dark road stands out next to the snow. I think that's a nice blend of colors there. It's going to be challenging to make this city not too bright because of all the snow. So that'll be something that we'll have to keep an eye on as we go. Maybe adjust the LUT settings to make it a little easier on the eyes. Let me know in the comments if this is hard to watch on whatever devices you're watching it on, if it is too bright. Here we're going with, we're not going grid at all to begin with. We're using some curved roads, some angles as we come into this other road, and I struggled with it a little bit, but we got it going. We're trying to, utilize a lot of space here. One thing I forgot to mention at the beginning, I typically play on Realistic Population Revisited or use that mod. We're not going to do that with this city. We're going to go back to vanilla population. Not 100% sure how that's going to work out for me. It's been a very long time since I've had to deal with the industry and commercial demands that come with the vanilla parts of the game, but we're gonna see how that goes. And here, this is my favorite way of zoning. Instead of just zoning the entire area residential and letting the game dictate where the houses go, I like to zone small chunks and mix it up a little bit. The reason I like that is the space that is given after the houses populate will allow us to create residential or pedestrian paths once we get those unlocked. That'll allow us to finalize the details of the neighborhood a little bit better. You could do that afterwards by just putting paths through houses, but I like to put the gap there. I just personally think it looks better. And right here, you might notice, why did everything turn blue? We're using a electric roads mod that will allow us to not have to place power lines everywhere. When I look at my neighborhood and I look where I live, I don't see power lines. That's why I'm a fan of that mod. And here we go. We got our first houses coming into Chillhorn, and we should be set to get close to being profitable at this point. We got the Hickory residence, the Sheffield residence, and a couple more coming in. But you may notice they were stuck at 0. Nobody's actually moving in. We're building houses, but nobody cares. And this is a time lapse. I didn't notice yet at this point. We do get to the point where I have a little bit of a freak out moment, and I'm worried that we're going to lose the city. We're going to not be able to become profitable because we spent too much money, didn't have people moving in time, and it ended up working out. I still didn't notice at this point. I'm just zoning away, putting all my residential areas the way I want it, or residential zones, adding in some commercial here. This area we're going to revisit and add a parking structure and turn into like a large commercial area for the initial neighborhood. So, but again, this episode, we just wanted to get it up and running. Oh, there we go. We noticed we don't have anyone moving in. There's nobody coming in. Traffic, no one's taking that right turn. Pause the game. I freak out a little bit, looking for what's going on. And then I realize my road doesn't connect. So we temporarily do attach that up top to allow people to do a U-turn, come back and go into the neighborhood. Later on, we fix that once we have more money. I wasn't sure at this point with the 2,700 if I had enough to finish the overpass the way I wanted to. I think we probably did have enough money. It would have put us really close to 0. But we got through it. You can see now we're up to 71 residents, and it's just like a waiting game at this point. We're trying to figure out, do we have enough houses laid down to become profitable? Because money really quickly is going to become an issue, and we're going to hope and figure out, did we do it? One thing I completely forgot at this point was to adjust the power or the budget. One way to quickly become profitable in this game is to lower the electricity budget, lower the water budget to I think it's 50% is the bottom of what it'll let you set it at, because your city doesn't need that much electricity and water at the beginning. You can get away with that lower budget and get your city profitable. And so at this point, we're just kind of taking a look, kind of letting the city bake a little bit, and well, bake's the wrong word. It's cold. Maybe we're letting it freeze a little bit and get people moving in to get us to that positive number in. And then once the city's profitable, we can just start growing it however we desire. And that is the plan with the upcoming episodes. Again, this one, we're just getting it established, starting to build a little bit of a road structure to get people moving in, to get the city started, to get Chillhorn on the map for other citizens to want to move here once we do have more residential zoning put in place. So I did kick it up to ×3 here to hopefully get to that positive number. We're at 244 people at this point. Started zoning in a couple areas I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to zone, but sometimes when you do get to that -6,000 like we have, you got to utilize all the space that you've already laid down to get the game to flip over to the positive side for you. And then I was adding in more industry, and then eventually a little bit more commercial. The more buildings that you have laid down, the more tax money that's coming in, so the closer we can get to that positive number. So at this point, we're kind of just watching the game, having it at ×3, hoping that we have enough residents, hoping that we have enough commercial industry going to get us to the positive number. Honestly, this is my favorite part of the game, starting a new city, getting it profitable. I mean, you win the game within 10 minutes of starting, kind of, and then it's just whatever you want to do from there. But you can see we're putting more commercial down because in my head I'm thinking more commercial, more tax money. We can get to that profit, that positive number, and move forward. And we just kind of sit here at this point, and we did it. We did it. We're at 66 positive. Now we're going to let the game run a little bit to get rid of that deficit that we have in the city. All right, while the city starts to get profitable and gets rid of that deficit, let's take a look at the map and talk about our plans. So we got this existing highway that kind of runs alongside the river. We're going to utilize that. We're going to make some off ramps there. We're going to build out the town, basically utilizing the existing infrastructure that's in place, and then build some winding roads that go alongside the river, kind of like we did the last city. Kind of let the map dictate the way the city grows. This is a vanilla map that comes with the DLC, so that's kind of nice that I've never used any of these before, and I like this map. This area here we'll probably utilize for a smaller little town. And then this one I'm excited about. This will be probably our only industry area. I haven't looked at what type of resources available there yet, but we're definitely going to use that for our industry area. And I'm going to try to leave this existing railroad there and utilize it like we're rebuilding that area into what we want it to be in this new Chillhorn town. And you can see this area we're not going to be able to use, but I did want to show how neat it is that the highway kind of comes down the mountain and winds into town. But yeah, them's the plans. We're going to stick to them. And this small profit's taking a while to make up the deficit. We're at, negative 3,000, but I did lower the budget at this point. You can see our profit's starting to grow a little bit. And right here, I want to kind of show the roads that I'm using. We are utilizing, there it is, Roads United Core, and then we, switched to vanilla to see it, but we're using the North America Plus. It makes the roads look different. I love the way they look. Instead of using this plain road, I don't have money to kind of show it right now, but that's why I made that decision, and that's why the roads look a little different than they do in vanilla. So if you're interested in that mod, take a peek at it. It's pretty cool. I like the different style of roads that we can have in this game. And here I'm just kind of filling some of the gaps to increase the profit, to maximize the amount of residents that we have right now. And we're just kind of waiting it out at this point. All right, we let the game run a little bit. You can see how we adjusted the budget to get more profit. But here we're going to add an overpass on the highway. I wanted to do this temporarily. Again, we're probably going to change this whole section up long term, but we want to get this going for now. Allow people to get to and from work a little bit easier. And then we did a little adjustments to the lanes with Traffic Manager mod to make sure we didn't have people just using this as a bypass. And it actually looks like the game set it up pretty well for us. We'll keep an eye on that as the town grows to make sure this doesn't become a traffic issue. But when it does, we can make adjustments there on the fly and improve it. And this little area, I think looks decent. It's kind of a neat idea. I like the idea of it for sure, but it doesn't look completely even. I'm spending way too much time on something that I feel like is temporary. I think we should move on. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, this next part, we're going to expand the city a little bit. Before we wrap up the episode, I did want to get a little bit more of the town grown, set us up for a good episode next time. We're going to extend some of these roads, add this main area here. I'm trying to kind of go along with the curve of the highway. Seemed to be a little challenging. I guess I misread it. It actually comes a little bit to the right and then back to the left. And at first when I laid it down, I went too far to the right to begin with. I didn't come to the left correctly, but you decide, you delete the road, try again, and it turned out fine. But this area where we're expanding, I didn't want to go too far because a little bit past where I ended that road, I do want to add another freeway exit. We're going to have a good amount of exits on that main highway as we expand out the city and keep it going. And I think it's going to turn out really nice. I don't know why the roads don't. There we go. That one worked good. And that bend's a little different than the other ones, but I think it's fine. And I'm kind of proud of myself that I didn't go super grid and have a lot of angles going already. And again, that wasn't necessarily my idea. I mean, I guess it was, but I kind of let the game and the map dictate the initial angle of that road, and I really like the way it looks right now. I like the way it turned out. This will allow us to add a lot of residents in here, and also the early game is a little easier when you're not using realistic population because these houses hold more residents than they do with the realistic population mod. And so getting some of these initial milestones unlocked will be a lot easier. Where you start to see the difference in those mods is when you get to the high density. The high density doesn't impact you as much in vanilla as it does in realistic population. But I wanted to change. I wanted to actually use the vanilla assets or the vanilla population style in this city and see if I like it. Changing things up is always fun. It mixes the game up for you and kind of makes it feel like a different game sometimes. That's what I love about mods, and I feel bad for all the console players because they don't get to enjoy these community, the huge, amazing community that we do have with Cities Skylines that contributes to this game and makes it more than just what Colossal Order did deliver. And I mean, that's why I keep playing it. But that's pretty close to what we're gonna do for this episode. I think this initial neighborhood turned out pretty cool. We got a little commercial area that we're going to expand on, and boom, snow dump. That's new. I'll have to figure out what that's for. But yeah, like I was saying, what the heck is going on here? But yeah, anyways, that's going to wrap up the first episode of Chillhorn. I'm enjoying it. I like the way the city's turning out. I think it'll be a pretty cool way to wrap up our year, get some snow. Again, I live in a city where it's 97 degrees today, so having some snow in my life, even though it's on a video game, is really nice. And I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And I'll catch you on the next episode of Chillhorn.